I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Oklahoma quarterback and Heisman frontrunner John Mateer will undergo surgery on his right hand and will be out for at least a month. Mateer suffered the injury to his throwing hand during the first quarter of Saturday's 24-17 win over Auburn. In baseball action tonight, the Cincinnati Reds are taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates at 6:40. Brady Singer on the mound for the Reds tonight. The Reds currently sit in the third wildcard spot. The Guardians also in action at 6:40 as they travel to Detroit to take on the Tigers. The Guardians are trying to hold on to that final wildcard spot while also only one game back of the Tigers for the division. And then tonight at 7, the Blue Jackets continue preseason play against the Buffalo Sabres. You can hear that right here on The Fan. Coverage begins at 6:45. And this update was sponsored by Green & Sons, family owned and operated for over 45 years. Green & Sons will help you find your next Kubota tractor, located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's standing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Tuesday. I'm Brandon Beam hanging out with my guy Austin Ward. And we got our man Isaiah behind the glass tonight. A Ward Sports, happy Tuesday to you. Coming off the off week. What's happening, buddy? Good to talk to you.
Great improvement weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome to go out there, play a little golf with you and Jay-Z on Friday. We got our clocks cleaned.
He improved his bank account.
Man, I didn't have his Venmo handy, so we were doing the live show on Monday. He shows up and he's just making chit chat with Nicole and Bob and Birmingham. Excuse me, sir, I need your Venmo because you just
How much do I owe you?
He just destroyed us, and then
it was crazy.
You pressed him on 18, and he said, "Watch this, make this birdie." I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm trunk slamming.
Yeah, you did.
I'm going to Indianapolis.
Hey, you guys want to stay for a beer? Austin said, I'm out of here. Not doing it.
Can't handle it.
Nope, can't handle the loss. But we took a big fat L on Friday.
But I had to go spend some time with the girls. And WrestlePalooza was great.
Other than that, how was your weekend? Pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, Indy was awesome. It was great because Allie had been gone all week. Lib was really excited until Brock Lesnar hit his 6th F5 on John Cena, and all the kids in the arena were crying. She didn't love that. But Cody saved the day at the end, defended the championship against Drew McIntyre, so that was awesome. And then, heading back on Sunday, where should we stop? Let's stop in Dayton.
Yeah, nice. 937.
Hit up Warped Wing and watch the Bengals for a second. Nope. We can leave at halftime. We're done here.
Yeah, that game was over pretty quickly.
Boy. So that was ugly. And on top of that, I forgot to mention, Beamer, we're leaving Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Saturday night. I was not paying any attention. I had been able to watch, a lot of college football in the afternoon. We watched the noon games, like pretty much in their entirety. Interesting stuff there and how it impacts Ohio State's schedule. But once we got into the event, it's like, all right, phones away. I wanted to watch Indiana, Illinois.
No, you didn't need to.
But we leave.
We've been championing Illinois this whole offseason.
So the doors slam. We get out to the street, and I said, okay, now it's safe. I'll check out what the score is. It was 56-10 when I walked out. I was like, what happened? All right, I got to explain this on Tuesday on the Buckeye Show. Beamer and I have spent all this time talking about Brett Bielema.
It's not even as bad for you as it is for me because I was championing South Carolina and they got smoked again this weekend by Missouri. So I'm 0 for 2.
I was smart enough to avoid the Gamecocks, but I was so far in on Illinois, and it's still going to be a tough game. But they're just, how can they not be reeling? They lost by 53.
63-7. Or 63-10,
right? I think
whatever it was.
I
don't know. I turned it off.
Yeah, at that point, it doesn't matter.
So
but
I don't need to watch this anymore.
And they've still got to play USC before the Ohio State game. So as you're starting to look ahead at kickoff times,
I think we're on the hot seat.
Going into last week, Fox was tabbing it for noon, like 100%. And now they're kind of like, let's see what happens against USC.
Back-to-back night games for Ohio State?
It could very well happen, which, by the way, add that into the file. Ohio State wanted a noon game for homecoming, and they still don't get what they want from the networks. No, sorry. You said you wanted primetime games, and you're going to get one right here. I cannot believe how that played out.
I am happy that Minnesota's a primetime game, though. It's the first time we've had back-to-back home games and back-to-back home primetime games, and God knows how long. So when has it been since that's happened? I have no clue.
At home, probably a while. I mean, there was that one stretch where like every Ohio State away game, like 6 in a row, were all in prime time.
Well, yeah, of
and
course.
Everybody got to maximize
Naturally.
Yeah, the audience outside of the horseshoe. But yeah, I'd have to look. That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I know it's been a long time. There was some random ones that they moved to prime time. Like we had to sit through an Illabuck showdown in driving rain late at one year, JT Barrett's tenure. But yeah, I guess it has been a while. We're going to have to look that one up. That's a great question.
Okay, we'll look that one up. Don't you
It
worry.
looks like 2022.
2022?
That's what I'm
Back-to-back
seeing
home
here.
night games?
Back-to-back home night games. It says Wisconsin. And then what I have here says Toledo, but Toledo doesn't sound right. Could it?
Yeah, Toledo was in the evening.
Was it?
Toledo was a night game.
The Kyle McCord
start.
special.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2022, Toledo and Wisconsin.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Great work. Thank you.
That's
Thanks, Isaiah.
ChatGPT for you.
Thanks, ChatGPT. Also known as Isaiah. Good job on that, on the quick research.
Don't give the credit away.
No,
That
yeah.
was on the top of the dome. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't ever
That
give
was-
the
that
credit
was
away,
me.
Isaiah. Don't do that.
Please. He gave the
That's
game
foolish.
away. He's like, it says Toledo. That can't.
It doesn't sound right. I mean, I can't be sure. We just played Ohio at night. I mean, I guess anything goes.
Yeah, that was the C.J. Stroud sophomore year, right?
Do you want it game?
That's right.
Ryan Day saying coming off of the Tulsa game, which was pretty wonky for
Yeah.
CJ. He was dealing with his shoulder injury. Like, hey, you're going to sit down right here and you're going to decide how bad you want it. It was weird because CJ was absolutely dealing with an injury, but it wasn't the way that Ryan Day treated it.
Shoulder injury?
He had a
Minnesota?
shoulder injury.
At
Yeah.
Minnesota for that season opener?
Well, then he threw for a billion
21?
yards. The debut, yeah.
Yeah, 21. That's right.
Yeah, that feels like a long time ago.
It does feel like a long time ago.
Which makes me wonder if that is correct, that stat, because the Toledo night game.
Well, you can blame GPT. Don't blame Isaiah on that.
I'm not blaming him.
Okay.
But now I'm asking my own questions again. Anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with the 2025 Buckeyes.
It doesn't have anything to do
No,
with
that was
them.
2022, right? No, that was 2021. I don't know. I'm lost.
It doesn't matter what year it was. They won a national championship last year, and they're undefeated this year.
Yeah.
And you're going on the road for your first Big Ten road test against Washington coming up this weekend. We got a great show lined up for you here.
We got
this
a
evening.
show?
It's quick. All right? It's quick. It's 6:45. We're going to get you out to Buffalo coming up at 6:45. Bobby Mack and those guys going to take over after we're done. We get some Jackets preseason to go over with you. We'll hear from Ryan Day coming up at 6:17. Listen to some of his press conference from today. And then Berm, naturally, he joins us at 6:45, usually on Tuesdays. We don't have that segment today, so he's moving up a spot, and he's going to join us coming up here at 6:30. Big Buckeye commitment yesterday, staying in the family, so we'll go over that with him coming up at 6:30. We got just craziness in college football right now. Today was one of the more wild days. John Mateer going down Austin for a couple of weeks, Oklahoma quarterback. You and I couldn't have been more wrong about Oklahoma either. We thought they were a pretender.
Hold on.
They're up to number 7 in the country. John Mateer goes down with an injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks with a surgery.
Yeah.
And then we also had Mike Gundy fired today. We've lost the plot. It's kind of crazy right now.
There's still time for the wheels to come off for Oklahoma.
Yeah, especially that South Carolina game coming up in a couple of weeks for them.
You see, you're bouncing back right away. I love that about you. You haven't lost any faith in those Gamecocks down there. It's that time of year where things start moving. You know, it is hard to stay healthy. Oklahoma has established itself in these first few weeks of the season as a contender, but they're gonna play Texas in like October 11th. So we got 2.5 weeks for that. And they're going to have to do that, it appears, without
Would
John
love to go to
Mateer.
Red River. Just a side note on that would be one of my college football road trips if I could take one during
great.
the season, if it was an off week for Ohio State, not with post-game stuff going on, would be one of the ones that I would most want to travel to.
Yeah, it's awesome. And being down there at the Texas State Fair is such a cool environment, so unique. I hope it never changes. I remember going the first time when I was 5 or 6 years old, and we were right near the 50-yard line where the colors switch. You know, one side is the crimson and cream and the other's burnt orange. And it's like you just look over there and the hatred is oozing from one
New
section to
crimson
the
and
other.
cream, Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers.
Boy,
Might be taking over.
What do you just have to keep saying all the things that we're wrong about?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give him full marks. Because as much belief as I had in Illinois was also, I guess, because I was skeptical of Kurt Signetti, and for this matchup, that he wasn't going to be able to follow up last year. You couldn't rely as much on the transfer portal. I guess my Ask Jeeves function was broken, and I should have been using Google because
Or ChatGPT.
ChatGPT could have told me that this guy wins, and he knows what he's doing.
Just
and
Google it.
That is a phenomenal performance from him. Like, kudos to him. I'll tip my hat to that. And it changes. Like, Ohio State doesn't play Indiana during the regular season. And I would have said, is there any way that these two teams could play again, whether that's Big Ten championship or the postseason playoff? No chance. But here we are. Indiana looks very much like a contender to get into the field again this year.
Absolutely, they do. You kind of have not an elimination game, but it is a rather big one with Oregon and Penn State this weekend, which is going to be fantastic. Did you watch any of Washington on Saturday, Austin? I know you were at WrestlePalooza, but I had my eyeballs on them, and I was making sure that I was watching the Apple Cup.
I caught back up on it, yeah.
I will say this. Their offense looks darn good. Their defense, I think, is a little bit suspect, so I think that's a challenge that Ryan Day and Brian Hartline are going to be up for this weekend. Their offense is going to pose probably the biggest task that Ohio State has seen so far this year.
Damon Williams is a special athlete.
Yes, he is.
And I think what I'm most interested in for this matchup, because I think there's three ways to really look at this. A, you have Julian Sayin going on the road for the first time, what that means for him. And there's a lot of Ohio State regulars and starters as you're replacing all those veterans from a year ago who have to go deal with this for the first time. But you have the road environment, and for Julian Sayin specifically, that's a big deal.
Good road environment. They haven't lost at home in a long time.
Yeah, Reputation is one of the loudest stadiums in college football. So you have that. You have Damon Williams here, adding another wrinkle and another opportunity for Matt Patricia to show what he can do, and a test for this Ohio State defensive line that we spent months talking about the depth and the frontline talent, if they can get it done. I mean, that's a real thing here. I think that's the part that I'm most interested in, because I think that Julian Sayin, he played Texas in his first college start. I don't think he's going to be fazed by this personally. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but we'll find out on Saturday
We've been
at 12.
wrong before.
We set a bad precedent, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, well, here's all the things we're wrong about. Oh, by the way, I'm really confident in Julian Sayin on Saturday on the road. And I am. Because I actually know a lot more about Ohio State than I do Illinois, apparently.
Same here.
Or definitely South Carolina. I know something about Oklahoma.
I've given about 95% of my brain space to Ohio State over the last couple of months.
Probably, it's my living. It's more, it's like 99% for me. It's all I think about, and it's all I talk about. But I think Julian Sayin will be fine. And I expect that Matt Patricia with, Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and really coming along strong play from Caden Curry and Caden McDonald, that they're going to be fine too. I wouldn't want to run, if I'm Jed Fish, Damon Williams at Arvell and Sonny 20 times, because that's probably a good way to get somebody hurt.
Seems like a bad idea.
I wouldn't do it personally, but he has the dual threat ability, and Matt Patricia has also had an extra week to prepare for him and to install different looks and different ways to spy with Sonny and Arvell or Caleb Downs. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like, because there's a triplet situation here. Great quarterback, great running back, and a talented wide receiver. That's going to make it interesting and show us a lot more about the ceiling for the Ohio State defense than arguably we saw against Texas. I think that this will be a much better test, definitely, than I envisioned 3 weeks ago.
I also think you could add the quartet in there, a true road game coming up here on the Big Ten schedule, which would be fun. How are the Buckeyes preparing for Washington? You're going to hear from Ryan Day on that front coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fraud in government is a crime, and it robs taxpayer dollars. I'm Ohio Auditor of State Keith Faber, and my job is to catch people that lie, cheat, and steal. Report suspicious behavior and help stop fraud. Learn the red flags, speak up, and protect your tax dollars by calling 1-866-FRAUD-OH.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cover more ground and get more savings on the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick. Gas-powered with a top speed of 40 miles per hour and outstanding acceleration and handling with cargo. All backed by a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Visit your Kubota dealer and get the Kubota Sidekick for 0 down, 2.99% APR for up to 48 months and save up to $300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Wake up and laugh with the Bob and Tom Show on the Fan 2.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
It says here they've won 5 Marconi Awards. I can't even spell Marconi. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Bob and Tom Show.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White here with your 10 weather impact forecast. Heading into tonight, we're tracking increasing clouds ahead of our next weather system. That's going to bring rain back to central Ohio here as we go through tomorrow. And we're tracking some good rainfall across the area, really helping with the drought conditions with over a ½ inch of rainfall expected here through the day. Highs will be in the low 70s here for tomorrow. A few more rain showers linger into Thursday with highs in the mid 70s, but tracking sunshine and drier conditions here for Friday and into the weekend with highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And that's your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to the Buckeye Show.
Brum's going to join us coming up here about 10 minutes away from now, 6:30. We'll let you know that summer's winding down. It's officially over because it is fall, but there's still time to drop 20 with Awaken 180's 20-pound slim down. That's how I started. 20 gone fast. Propelled me straight to dropping my goal. You're still going to eat, drink, enjoy summer or fall, but the scale's finally moving. Then you hit fall with the energy, confidence, and clothes that actually fit again. Awaken 180's coaches keep you on track so the weight stays off. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. Start your first 20 now and finish early fall on a win streak.
I was just telling a story earlier today at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center about the visit to Wisconsin and Camp Randall 2 years ago, where I was
eating pickles
2 weeks in to the
it's
journey.
The hardest week. Anybody who wants to start Awaken 180, week 2 is the toughest week. Once you make it through that, you're good.
I was like, that was the first game that I had gone to cover at Camp Randall and be in Madison. And I'm like, I don't know how rigidly I'm going to be able to stick to this plan. Why did I start it right now? I would like to have started it after I went to Madison. And I may have cheated a little bit.
Hey, but that's okay.
It's what the coaching is for.
Life is about choices,
Sorry,
Austin.
I made mistakes, Coach. Get me back on track.
That is correct.
And they did.
That is correct.
Shout out to Jen.
What did you take away from Ryan Day in his press conference today in front of the Buckeyes taking their team on the road for the first time in 2025, Austin?
Yeah, well, taking them on to the road a day early, which I think is pretty significant.
I'm chronically online. I'm on Twitter all the time. At least that's what it used to be called. I'm on X all the time. And I saw it as like breaking news that Ohio State was Ryan Day was taking the team out early on Thursday compared to last year when they took him out on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I think we talked about this weeks ago that they were taking them out on Thursday.
Well, I have hinted heavily on the Buckeye Show over the last couple of weeks, and I told you maybe even more directly when the microphones weren't on. We weren't supposed to be talking about all that. They didn't want a ton of attention on it.
Okay.
They don't want all the travel plans out there. They
want Buckeye time.
They didn't,
right?
And they're going to be on Buckeye time the whole time out there, which is, I think, even though you're going on Thursday, they're still going to make the schedule the same way. They are not trying to overemphasize it. They're trying to thread a needle because they're not using this as an excuse for what happened against Oregon, which was one of the best games of the college football season a year ago. Came down to
also one of the best teams of college football last year.
No doubt. And it came down to a ludicrous offensive pass interference call on Jeremiah Smith, and then we know what happened.
And a 12-man penalty that they changed the rules subsequently
that's
the
right.
week after.
And then the slide with Will Howard and the timing. That wasn't why.
I think it was a good thing in Ohio State in the long run, though.
It helped.
It was a good thing for them.
It helped. They came back and they, they re-engineered the defense, which was the buzzword coming out.
That was the term, wasn't it?
Yeah. But again, the point is not, did they do something wrong with that a year ago? You have Ryan Day talking with Mickey Marotti and, all the nutritionists and all the sports science people and Quinn Temple and everybody about the planning. Like, what can we do differently? It's like, if you have this option available to you, and the best Fridays in football, there aren't a lot of classes on that. You can get out of town on Thursday night. You can start that process, maybe remove some of the jet lag. They're still going to stay as if they're on East Coast time. That's the way that they operate. And you almost have to when you're only out there for that short a period of time. So it'll still feel like 12:30 for them. But it's not just also, Beamer, that they're leaving on Thursday. They've moved up some of the practices, like today on a Bloody Tuesday. Tomorrow they're going to finish a little bit earlier as well. Same thing on Thursday before they jump on that flight out west. Like they're trying to account for that. What's the smartest way to do it? And it's not something was wrong about going to Eugene, but this is going to become a fairly regular occurrence, almost annual in most cases. So
I think it is annual, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're going to have UCLA next year, USC down the road. These things are going to continue to happen. So what's the smartest? What's the best way? How can you continue to improve to put yourself in position? Because the league is not going to contract. They're not going to say, you know what, we made a mistake. Well, let's stop having these games out on the West Coast.
Wish they would.
That'd be great if they would. UCLA, they don't belong here. Let's get them out of here.
They fired their coach already.
Yeah, they're in LA. But I think that
we share the city with USC.
Yeah, they do. But this is, in terms of the actual matchup itself, it's down in the pecking order. As you said, breaking news, maybe not. I think it's significant because it is a break from the routine, but I think the reason that we can say they might not do this every year moving forward is they're coming off of the off week, and this is the first road game of the year. I think that probably has more to do with it, those two factors, than every year you're going to have to go out and play UCLA. You need to be there on Thursday night. That might not be the case, but we'll find out how they play based on this adjustment on Saturday at 12:30 Pacific time.
What about Ryan Day today talking about the road environment that he's expecting from the Huskies?
Expecting a great environment. And I think that's what's great about being in the Big Ten. You see now so many different styles of stadiums, different fan bases. And while I've never played at Washington, I've heard great things about it. the university where it's located, but then their fan base, and the stadium itself, and how loud it gets. So. We're expecting a great environment, and that's what's a great part about being on the road. You get to go into these environments and get a feel for what it's like, but that's why you decide to come to play in the Big Ten, is to play in stadiums and environments like this. Two great teams getting after it. But traveling to the West Coast, that's a new experience for all of us, and I think it's great. It's great for us nationally in recruiting. And obviously a great opponent.
Right. Last time that these two opponents played was the Rose Bowl back in 2018, 2019. Your guy, Jake Browning, was the starting quarterback for Washington. Austin, 35 of 54.
What did you call him?
I said he was your guy, starter for the Cincinnati Bengals. 35 of 54, 313 yards passing, 0 touchdowns. Dwayne, on the other hand, very efficient day, 25-37. 3 touchdowns, and Urban's last game ever in charge of the Buckeyes before the Ryan Day era started.
Somebody got a whistle around their neck in the locker room after that game. That person, obviously, Ryan Day. So I think he'll probably have some fond memories of that particular encounter, the matchup. And this was going to be a non-conference home-and-home series that Ohio State wanted before things got wonky with Big Ten expansion. So it's a proud program. Washington has been fluctuating over the last couple of decades. They're not a perennial power the way that maybe they were viewed in the Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-8 days.
They can sneak up on you.
They can. And they're 2 years removed from nearly winning it all. So they're capable of rising up and doing some great things. And what's interesting about this dynamic on Saturday and the way Ohio State is treating them, like Ryan Day, the words that he used were absolute battle, was what he called this. And you look at the spread, and it's come down a little bit from where people were talking about it a week ago.
5 points. I think it was 13.5 to open up. It's down to 8.5, depending on where you look.
Yeah, I am surprised by that because of the talent 1 through 85, but it goes back to what we mentioned about the intrigue with this matchup. I think there are still people that are unsure nationally about Julian Sayin and the offense because he didn't blow the doors off against Texas as if anyone...
I think there are people unsure here about Julian Sayin and the offense.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to speak for the minority, but I think when you're held to the standard that has been set in the Ryan Day era and the quarterbacks that have been here over the last few years, 10 years, however long it's been, I think certainly there's still some questions about him.
But whether you have them or you don't have them, this is the first opportunity on the road and against a Big Ten opponent to prove that you are what some people think you are, or prove the ones that don't think you're that wrong. So I think that's a big opportunity.
Who we thought they were.
That's a wise man said it. And I think that's a big opportunity for him. And when you reference the noise and dealing, like Washington's defense itself is not one that should give Ohio State problems. They gave up 21 points to Colorado State. It's a limited sample size that we're working with, obviously, but 21 points to Colorado State, you'd think, well, that's modest. It's not good. Colorado State is not good. 24 points to Washington State. They gave up 277 passing yards, Washington did in that Apple Cup game on Saturday. So, Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, they should all be in line for really good performances. It comes down to what we were breaking, the conversation that was broken down by Ryan Day and the coaching staff in August. What is it going to take for Julian Sayin to win this job? Communication, command of the huddle, being able to lead, handle adverse situations. Like Texas is the most adverse in terms of on-field challenge. And now environmental challenges, this will be a new one for Julian Sayin.
Berm, he's going to join us coming up in 2 minutes for a sprint finish. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Fox Tonight is the place for uncovering mysteries and memories.
I had a car accident. I lost 8 years of my life.
First, it's the season premiere of Murder in a Small Town.
Your success rate in solving major crimes is superb.
Surprises the heck out of me too sometimes.
Then, it's the season premiere of the smash hit, Doc.
You're having memories? They're just weird flashes. I need my life back. I will do whatever it takes.
Tonight, starting at 8 on Fox 28.
In Central Ohio, there are so many issues that develop during the day. Issues that affect you and your communities.
Our goal is to make a difference for you by getting you the answers you deserve.
We're on your side to find solutions.
To make sure you know first before the weather affects you.
More than 4,000.
Governor Mike DeWine announcing that both
tonight with this rain moving.
It starts with Central Ohio's only 10 p.m. newscast, Fox 28 News at 10.
Followed by ABC 6 News at 11. Always on your side.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State championship quarterback Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. I remember seeing that CareSource heart around town and just knowing they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. And that means the world to so many children today. My name is Cardale Jones, and I was a CareSource kid.
CareSource, your Medicaid, your choice. Visit caresource.com/Medicaid.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Got about 10 minutes to go before we get you out to Buffalo with the Jackets, the preseason game. Right now we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline check with our great friend. He is known as Jeremy Birmingham. Birm, what's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just getting ready for this trip to Buffalo with you guys. When are you leaving?
We're leaving here in 10 minutes. We're going to be on the pregame show. It's going to be fantastic. Before we get to your weekend ailments from the Bengals and the Reds in a wild card position, how did you take in the off week? You all good? Everything fine?
Yeah. Just enjoyed some ball. Got to stay at home, watch football with family and friends, which is always nice. Did some yard work. Try to be productive around the house. It's not often on these fall weekends you get a chance to just, do a bunch of stuff your wife asks you to do.
Absolutely, it's not. That's what I did this weekend too. It was pretty good, Berm. Glad you had a good weekend. Before we get going on the game against Washington, I just want to know from a personal level, how are you getting out there? Train, plane, automobile? How are you traveling out to Seattle this weekend?
Regrettably through the air. Okay. There's really not a lot of options. So Seattle is a fairly substantial trip to make. And
did you look at train options?
Yeah, but we have to be in the Woody tomorrow night, and it's like a 30-hour train trip, and it's
you
just
can make it by game time.
Yeah, but you're running some risks. What if you get stopped at a light?
Oh, yeah.
What if your train car gets hijacked?
We were about 60 seconds in to Snap Judgments on the Austin and Berm show today, and we were talking about Ohio State going out a day early. He said, "Have you ever thought about how crazy it is that planes fly? Like, how did this happen?" I was like, well, "Is this what we're talking about? Because I don't know the answer."
It's nuts. It's truly insane that we can fly in a plane. But that's neither here nor there. You know what else is flying? Ohio State recruiting, guys. Buckeyes added a commitment on late Sunday night from the younger brother of Jeremiah Smith, Angelo Smith, a safety from Florida who camped with the Buckeyes this summer. It was actually pretty impressive. I mean, he was out there this summer and doing his work. He's a little bit smaller than what you'd expect based on his brother, but the athletic traits certainly carry over. Those are genetic.
Berm, I think it was a couple of months ago we were talking about maybe Angelo Smith picking up an offer from Ohio State. What has transpired between then and now, which actually made him commit to the Buckeyes for this upcoming class?
I mean, a lot of it is of course, just the relationship that Jeremiah has at Ohio State and how he feels about Ohio State and the way the Buckeyes staff from top to bottom treats their players. That opened up a big door. But really, it's the fact that Tim Walton and McArary were pretty clear with him. Like they believe that he's got major upside. And, he, as I said, he's smaller. He's about 5'10" right now compared to what JJ was as a junior in high school, where he was 6'3" and 200 pounds. Angelo's a little bit less physically imposing, but the athletic traits are there, and they believe that he has a type of potential to be a slot safety, in the Buckeye defense, and one of those slot corner safety combos that they run. And again, what you get out of him is a kid that really has a chip on his shoulder. He kind of views himself as someone that people overlook or just talk about because of his brother. And I think that's the type of mentality that's going to serve him well at Ohio State.
Berm, I understand there might be a little bit of a recruiting subplot for this Ohio State-Washington matchup right now.
I mean, well, I don't know if I would call it too much of a subplot. The Buckeyes have been evaluating and recruiting Rajon Duncan. He's a cornerback from California. He's been committed to Washington since the summer. They offered him today. There will be a handful of players that will be at the game this weekend from the West Coast, including a number of kids from St. John Bosco out in California, which is a place the Buckeyes have recruited well, who visited Columbus for the Texas game. So you don't really think of Washington as like a team that Ohio State would regularly recruit against, but I think there's a fairly large gap between the way maybe like current day Ohio State fans view the Washington football program and how Washington fans and how Washington's administration and Washington's history views their football program. And they're trying to get back into that upper crust, and they're recruiting at a better level. Jed Fish has got it going. They're spending some money. Derek Coleman-Brusa, who's a defensive end from Washington, who the Buckeyes really liked in the spring, will be there. He's committed to Washington. So there's some storylines developing, but nothing that I would put too much stock into until a guy like Rajon Duncan decides to visit Ohio State. He's picked up offers from Ohio State, Georgia, and Oregon in the last 3 days. So I fear he may not be long for the Washington recruiting class at this point.
He is Berm with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Berm, are there still some like bad blood battles between Ohio State and Washington over like Emeka and JT? Because I know that those were pretty heated a couple of years ago when those guys were deciding on their commitments.
They were heated, but you got to remember those were pre-NIL recruitments, and so
your favorite.
There really was not any opportunity for Washington to compete with Ohio State at that time. Their program wasn't in the same atmosphere as the Buckeyes, and a couple of years after Chris Peterson moved on, they had a struggle. They fell off a little bit. And there were certainly a lot of locals who view Emeka and JT and G. Scott as guys who were traders to the Pacific Northwest, but I don't think anybody can blame them for leaving there to go to Ohio State, where they all won a national championship.
Seems like it worked out okay for them. When you look at this particular matchup on Saturday, Berm, what's the most interesting part to you?
To me, it's just the Ohio State linebackers versus Damon Williams. I think he's really good. Washington's quarterback. He's been dynamic. He has not played against a defense that has weapons the way that Ohio State does. It's weird, I think, like when you're a really athletic player like Williams is, and for 3 straight weeks you kind of get to do what you want, like you're playing on rookie or varsity level on college football, and then you play against a player like Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs, and you're like, oh, wait a second, this is actually quite a wake-up call. I'm just interested to see what Matt Patricia has drawn up for him, because the conversation at Ohio State, both today and then last Tuesday when we had a chance to talk to Matt Patricia in the off-week press conference, it seems pretty clear that the Buckeyes are taking this threat seriously, and they are not viewing this game as like a cakewalk by any stretch. So that generally is a good sign, because when Ohio State dials in, their coaches are as good as anybody in the country all the time, and when they dial in, they take it to another level. You had the off week, you had extra time to figure things out. I think that matchup is just going to be super fun to watch.
Berm, before we get you out of here, last minute or so, biggest regret of the improvement week / off weekend for Ohio State: not going down to Cincinnati to see your Reds, or not going up to Minneapolis to see your Bengals?
I have zero regret about not going to see the Bengals. Okay. I was convinced it was going to be a historic loss before the game started. I said it to my wife. I sat down. We were getting ready to watch the game. We opened our first Kona Big Wave, and I said, you know what? Today's going to be a historic loss. And she said, have some faith. You're just doing that reverse psychology thing you do. And I said, no. Today's going to be bad. And then it was real bad. I do regret not going to Cincinnati for the Reds series against the Cubs. But had I gone, they would not have swept the Cubs.
Yeah, but the Bengals may have won.
False. That was never going to happen.
Buddy, always appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on with us. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy your plane ride later this week, and we'll check in again maybe.
He won't, I promise
Tuesday,
you.
Okay?
Yeah, thanks. Enjoy Buffalo.
Okay, goodbye. There he goes. Jeremy Birmingham with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Austin, I had a great time with you tonight.
Let's do it again on Thursday. What do you think?
Are you in on Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Timmy,
2 hours Thursday. Was Murph leaving or something like that?
I think he leaves a day early.
Okay.
I think he's going out on Thursday.
Whoa,
I don't know for sure.
2 hour banger for
but
us.
Tim was in the hallway. He asked me this morning to do it, and like you and I don't even have enough time to tell the story.
No, you don't. I'll just talk.
But I'm going to be here on Thursday, and then we can tell it.
Okay, I'll see you in Buffalo here in 10 seconds.
Let's go.
Jackets up next on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no